it's Valerie. Welcome back to my channel and welcome back to this week's What's for Dinner. If you are new here, I would love if you'd hit that subscribe button and join my YouTube family, and don't forget to leave a like or a comment down below. This week I've got some yummy meal options for you. I hope that you enjoy them all as much as we did. And I'm also going to be announcing the winner to the giveaway of the Gricho pans, and that's going to be at the end of the video. So if you entered that, stay tuned for that. And I'll give more information on that later. Let's just get started. On this night, we had one of my favorite places called Connal's. It's in the city of Pasadena. So if you ever come to California and you are visiting over here and you go to the city of Pasadena that houses the Rose Bowl Stadium as well as the Tournament of Roses parade for New Year's, you should go check out this place. They have an amazing sandwich. It is called the Combo Grinder. They have lots of like burgers, sandwiches, shakes, that type of thing. And I get the Combo Grinder. It has like salami, turkey, cheese, ham, and something about it. Like they have an oil with like dried mint in this sandwich. It is so good. And I actually went to the Hat as well to pick up onion rings because I was just craving those as well. I'm starting off by making that cheesy, creamy mixture that's going to go on top of our chicken, and to do that in a bowl, I'm going to add in 1 cup of sour cream, and then to that I'll add in half a cup of Parmesan cheese. Now this is just the bag kind, it's not fresh, whatever you have will work, it's fine. And to that I'll add a teaspoon each of dried oregano, basil, and garlic powder, and some fresh pepper, but I did forget it this time, so you'll see that in a moment here. But I add in 1 tablespoon of cornstarch. I start mixing that all together, and then I realize I did forget that salt and pepper. So to then I also added in the half a teaspoon of salt and the half a teaspoon of pepper and mix that in as well. Now to my 9x13 baking dish, I added in 4 chicken breasts. Well, this is just 2 large ones I cut in half. I didn't really need 4 large chicken breasts just for the 2 of us. And I'm doing something the recipe didn't call for, but I added in some melted butter, maybe about a 1/4 cup's worth. I added in there, and I'm sprinkling that with some mozzarella cheese because I don't have cheese like slices like the recipe calls for. It says for 4 slices. So I started just adding some shredded, and then I knew that once I added this mixture on top that it was not going to be the prettiest situation going on because it was just like going to move it all over the place. But it's no big deal. I figured that would just combine with the cheese and bake on, no problem. So I didn't add too much, and I opted to add a little bit on top after I spread out the sour cream mixture. So I am dolloping that like small, or as best I could, like evenly across all that chicken, and then that's gonna make it a little bit easier to just spread without like moving it as much. If I were to just put big dollops on top, I'd end up having to smooth that a lot, and that was kind of what I'm avoiding, because you can see that cheese is already giving me a little bit of a hassle there and coming up. So if you have those mozzarella slices, it's recommended to use those because that will make your life a little easier. But if you don't, it works out, it's no big deal. Maybe just put that even sour cream mixture down first, then top it with the mozzarella. It just gets browned on top, and I thought that was tasty. So yeah, I added some of that mozzarella on top, and some Parmesan as well. I thought that would be a nice little punch of flavor, and we're gonna bake that at 375 degrees, and I did mine for about 30 minutes because it is a smaller chicken breast, like thinner. But if you are doing the larger, thicker kind, you might be upwards of 45 minutes to an hour. I just made some air fried asparagus to go with this, as well as some instant mashed potatoes, and I poured some melted butter on top of those. I love instant mashed potatoes. I love any kind of potatoes. Like, I love potatoes. But this was really tasty. I love those brown bits of the cheese on top of that. There were really even parts on the sides of the casserole dish that were like crispy cheese. It was so delicious. And there's extra cheese and butter in the bottom of mine. You could pour that on top of potatoes if you make that as well. But we really enjoyed this meal. It's been a while since I've made this, so I thought I'd show it again. You just need shredded chicken for this recipe, so however much you want. I am taking a few chicken breasts here, adding them to the bottom of the Instant Pot with some water and bouillon, and I put some garlic powder as well in there. And I'm just going to put that in the Instant Pot, and I'm going to pressure cook that for about 15 minutes because I had some really frozen, stuck together chicken breasts. I wanted to make sure they were going to cook all the way through, especially stacked like that in there. and I did a natural release for a few minutes and then quick release the remaining, and we shredded that chicken on up. Now this is the part where it's just to taste. So I add lemon juice. You can use fresh or bottled like I am. They both work. Some Worcestershire sauce and some salt. And it's a good flavor combination. It's hard to explain, but it's so delicious, and it's simple but really good. So you're just gonna go back and forth tasting and adding. Like, that's pretty much what I do. You taste and see like if you feel like it's enough Worcestershire sauce, if you want it more lemony, and the salt really just helps kind of bring those flavors out. And then I fry up my taco shells. So you can do what you like on that, but I really feel like frying the taco shells for this, it really makes this. And I don't add anything to it but shredded cheddar cheese. I really love sharp cheddar on it, and I serve this with some Spanish rice. Y'all, I love these tacos. I wish that I could have them all the time. We literally had so many leftovers, and we ate them like for lunch. Like we kept wanting these. They are so good. For this soup, I'm using my Dutch oven. You can use a large pot, whatever you have. And I'm adding in 1 pound of ground beef. Mine's still slightly frozen, but it's no big deal. Just using my meat chopping tool to break that up. And we're just going to go ahead and brown that. I believe the recipe that I have linked says to do the onions first. I always do my beef and then my onion. It's just a preference. So I season that with some garlic powder, salt, and pepper. And then I'll go ahead and add in my onions. And I let those cook for about 3 minutes. And once those have softened up a bit, I will add in some garlic. I'm not using garlic cloves, but if you are, the recipe calls for 3, so it's just a preference. I love some garlic, so I'm using this just squeezed tube of garlic here, and I'm stirring that in there. We're just gonna let that become fragrant anywhere from 30 seconds to a minute here, and then I'll add in some diced tomatoes. So it calls for diced tomatoes. I had Rotel I needed to use up, so I decided to use that, and then it called for whole green chilies, like roughly chopped. I just had a can of like chopped green chilies or diced green chilies, so I added those in. And this soup was really spicy for us, so if spice is a concern for you right now, when I added in the tablespoon of chili powder, I would maybe hold off on that and then add in the teaspoon of Italian seasoning. But once I get all the liquid in, then maybe I would taste the flavor to see if I think it's too hot. If it's already at a good heat amount, maybe I wouldn't add in that that chili powder. But I did use Rotel, so that could be why it's spicier than maybe it should have been. To this, I'm adding 5 cups of beef broth, and I'm just using better than bouillon beef into some water there, adding that in, giving it all a good stir, and I'll let that simmer for about 25 to 30 minutes. I did decide once I let that start simmering that I wanted to add in a can of corn. So I went ahead and did that. I do not regret that at all. In fact, I think an addition of potatoes in this would be really, really delicious. Next, I'm adding in 4 ounces of cream cheese. Next time I do this, I would let that come to room temperature, and I would cube it up into little cubes because this was kind of hard to get melted down. And then to that, I'm adding in 1 cup of heavy cream and 2 ounces of I just use a cheddar jack cheese, and I didn't have Colby jack cheese, so I added that in, stirred that all together. I just let that cheese all begin to melt. I had to work on it in a bit, really pushing on those chunks of cream cheese. So yeah, but I served this with some biscuits. It was delicious. Like I said, just spicy. Next time I make this, I'm definitely gonna add potatoes. I feel like I'd really, really enjoy this with potatoes. But then again, I do love potatoes. And I put some extra cheddar cheese on top of that, and there's my biscuits. Overall, this was delicious, just a little on the spicy side. We are going to start this off by making the shawarma seasoning. So to a bowl, I am combining 1 teaspoon of cinnamon with a 1/4 teaspoon of nutmeg, 1 teaspoon of garlic powder, 1/2 teaspoon of onion powder, 2 teaspoons of paprika, 1/4 teaspoon of pepper, and 1 teaspoon of turmeric. It looks like I'm adding in 2 teaspoons, but I'm just using 1/2 teaspoon 2 times because it fits better into that little jar. But I'm just mixing that together till all those little spices are combined. Now I'm taking 2 large chicken breasts. I am going to just pour that mixture all on top of that. I did pat these dry with a paper towel. But yeah, I'm going to pour that on, kind of rub it all in. This is going to be coating the entire chicken, so I'm trying to get in every little crevice to use up all of this seasoning onto these chicken breasts. So this recipe doesn't call for putting any water into the Instant Pot itself, but I always add some water. Like, that just seems like I'm gonna get the burn notice like that. So I added maybe just a quarter cup of water there, and that worked out for me. And I placed those chicken breasts on the bottom there, and you don't have to use the trivet. And then I'm drizzling a tablespoon of avocado oil on top of those. I put the lid on, put that on sealing if you have that option, and then cook it on manual pressure for 12 minutes. When it's done, you'll let that naturally release for 5 minutes and then quick release the remaining pressure. Now we're going to make the yogurt sauce. I love tzatziki. This is not the typical way I normally make it. It's similar though, so I wanted to try this the way they make it out. So I added some yogurt to a bowl. It says a half a cup of yogurt, so I started off with that, and then 1 tablespoon of fresh dill. I definitely did closer to 2 tablespoons on that. It definitely looked like I needed more for my liking. And then 2 tablespoons of lemon juice, 2 teaspoons of Dijon mustard. And I actually only did 1 because my boyfriend's not a huge fan of mustard. And then half a teaspoon of garlic powder. And then you'll need a quarter cup of grated cucumber. Now, I never grate it. I always dice it up, but this is the first time grating it, which it is how it's typically done. And you squeeze out the remaining liquid in the cucumber first. That's going to make it so where your yogurt doesn't get runny. And it doesn't call for salt, but it needed some salt. I was trying to like make it a little bit like fixed the way I would typically do it at this point. So I also decided to add a nice little healthy scoop of yogurt there as well. To just so we could have a little bit more yogurt sauce, because that's like one of my favorite things. And then you're gonna chop up some cucumbers, tomatoes, whatever you like on your like pita bread there, but I like cucumber and tomato, so I just sliced some of those up, and we shredded the chicken up. You can do this with forks or with your little hand mixer, whatever you prefer. These are the pita breads I love, the Papa pita breads. They're so soft and delicious. I did a quick easy side with this with some of the Ben's pilaf ready rice, and this was so good. Like, I love Mediterranean food. It's one of my favorite things. So anything with like a yogurt sauce and the fresh vegetables on it is really, really delicious to me. And this definitely did not disappoint. On this last night, we went to this cool place called Shake Ramen. So they do ramen in a cup. You pick, like, they have a sheet. You pick all your ingredients that you want in it, and then like they seal it. You shake them up, and that's how you eat them. But I didn't get a good picture of it. Sorry about that, guys. I just had this little clip that I got for like Instagram, and so that's all I have to show you. But we love this place a lot. Alright friends, are you ready for me to announce this winner already? I put y'all in a little like spinny wheel thing. Anyone who entered is in that, and I'm gonna push the spin button, and I just want to wish you all good luck. Let's find out who the winner is. Congratulations to Jan Ardweg. There is that account there. I'm so excited for you. So I will leave my email in the description box down below. Go ahead and leave me an email with your contact information, like where to ship it, what pan you are choosing, and I will send that over to Greencho. They are the ones shipping to you. If I don't hear from you within this week, I will have to pick a backup winner. But I want to say thank you to everyone who entered this contest. Thanks so much for watching, friends. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and that little bell so you don't miss out on any future videos. And I hope you all have an amazing day.